With us, it's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the Punch newspaper. INEC governorship list litigation kicks 14 APC, PDP, Labour Party candidates out. Parties face court cases in Ebonyi, Akwa Ibom, Enugu, 6 others. Commission OK Sanwo-Olu, Abiodun, Makinde, 834 others. You'll find all of the details on the front page of the Punch newspaper. And to the front page of the Nation newspaper now, APC National Working Committee governors, Presidential Campaign Council members unite for Tinubu. Flag bearer returns today. Southeast APC women hold rally in Owerri. You find the details on the front page of the Nation newspaper. To the front page of the Blueprint now, Adamu on Tinubu's list. Why APC can't commence campaign without governors, says they are key to party's victory. Release campaign list will be sorted out by Gudu. ACF, police warn politicians against rigging thuggery. You'll find the details on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. To the Daily Times now. Reach out of court settlement. Appeal court advises federal government ASU shift hearing till today. Reach out of court settlement. Appeal court advises federal government and ASU shift hearing till later today. Mike.
All right, I have first news here on this side, and it says, free at last. Military rescues remaining 23 kidnapped Kaduna train passengers. Buhari commends military for achieving defeat. That's what the first news has here. From there, let's go to this Nigeria. This Nigeria says, free at last. 6 months after Abuja-Kaduna train attack, military secure release of remaining 23 hostages. Okay, that is what this Nigeria has. From there, let's go to Leadership newspaper. Kaduna train attack. After 6 months in captivity, remaining 23 victims regain freedom. And the federal government says it was a covert operation. No ransom was paid. PMB, that's President Muhammadu Buhari, hails military. We're yet to see our loved ones. Families are saying this. Abuja-Kaduna train service to resume soon. NRC is saying this. That's a Leadership newspaper. From there, let's go to Daily Trust. Daily Trust says 23 remaining abducted Kaduna train passengers were released. And families excited how negotiators sealed a deal. NRC to unveil a plan on train service resumption. All that on the front page of the Daily Trust. And the last one with me here is Nigerian News Direct. And it says 19.76 trillion naira budget presentation. Presidency battles padding by MDAs. Okay, presidency battles padding by MDAs, announces a 720 billion naira borrowing plan, and reps commence process of scrapping MDAs. Okay, this is part of the discussion so far. This is what I have on this side. Veronica.
All right. Let's quickly look at the release of the 23 Kaduna train kidnapped victims. We recall that this happened sometime in March, about 6 months ago, and a number of them were kidnapped, out of which about 8 of them were said to have died in the process, one of which was Chinelu, who was said to be medical personnel. And then there was also the aspect with regards to this matter where we had the person of Tukumamu, who was the initial negotiator between the federal government and the terrorists that kidnapped these persons. But in the process, he decided to pull out of the negotiation because he said that his life was being threatened and so many issues, because we had him here on set. And afterwards, he was arrested by the DSS and is said to still be in the custody of DSS. But thus far, the remaining persons are now being released, and the families are excited. Nigerians are excited. This operation happened based on a 7-man presidential committee assembled by the Chief of Defense Staff, Lucky Airport that said they carried out this operation. A laudable one, we must say.
One of the points that came up to me immediately I heard the news was the story that Tuko Mamu was pushing around about a young lady that was supposed to have been
Married off.
on the verge of a coerced matrimony with the commander, you know. So want to know what the girl will say now for herself. What happened? What's the story? How much of this was true and how much was not? Because it was said that maybe it was part of Tuko Mamu's strategy, you know, to escalate the whole idea of forcing government to pay for their release. The other issue is we don't know how much did the government pay to get these people out. Did they not
Government
pay?
said they did not pay.
They have never said that they have paid. They have never, nobody
No, government has never paid ransom. Why you? Government doesn't pay ransom. Why are you saying that?
Paid. But, you know, as they say, as Shakespeare wrote, say, all is well that ends well. So rather than the people and the family pouring curse on the government, they won't say as, you know, the lamentation of David, when they say, "You mountains of Gilboa, there shall be no dew, neither there shall be rain upon you or upon your fields of offerings." And because the shadow of the mighty have been vilely cast away. And now they will turn that over and say, okay, let there be rain and let there be dew. Let there be rain upon you and your shield shall not be cast away. You know, so things have now turned the other way for the government. But this is also a reflection that the government is taking security a little more seriously now. And this is one of the narratives that the government itself, in its incapacity to tell its own story, has not been able to show that even in the media, even editors and so on are unwilling to tell the story of the tamp down in violence across the country, whether it's in the northeast or around the country. There is a certain timidity of intellectual expression to say, okay, let us face the fact. Things are not as bad as they used to be. Whether tomorrow it will change, we don't know. But in the past month or so, especially since the time of the Kuje prison, there's been, and the attack on the National Guard, there's been some kind of wake-up. It was a wake-up call, some kind of a born-again spirit in terms of violence, attitude towards violence by this government.
But some persons will say that perhaps we shouldn't have waited till the point of seeing such attacks happen before we begin to have this born-again attitude towards addressing matters of security.
Yeah, we should have waited. The lives have been lost.
Yes.
Things have happened. People have gone away and so on. Thoreau said, you can't kill time without injuring eternity. You have already killed time. You have injured eternity. But we still have time on our hands.
Yeah.
As Don William says, you have time on your hands. You know. So the point is, all is well that ends well.
Yeah.
Yes,
Indeed.
you know.
Indeed.
Jesus Christ was slain, but then we have redemption.
No.
Absolutely. I like that point.
The issue there is sometimes security, where they say, this place is peaceful. What makes the place peaceful sometimes can be overrated. Sometimes it's not because there is some conscious efforts to ensure some things don't happen. Maybe it's just because nothing really just didn't happen, so it looks peaceful. But by the time some conscious efforts, the kinetic energy comes in, where there's a forceful activity that leads to something, then every other person wakes up. That is what is happening. In Nigeria, like in 1960 and the 70s and all of that, it wasn't because they couldn't have, it wasn't because the military or the police or the DSS were exceptional. It was just because Nigerians were just, everybody was just coming, looking in a certain direction and all of that. But when that road wasn't going forth, you saw that people started looking for alternatives and they started fending for themselves. And those who wanted to go through other alternative means that are not lawful, and then it jacked up the spate of violence and things like that. And that put pressure on the security agencies to ensure that normalcy returns. Now, The DSS and the military, we have often said, if those guys, in fact, Nigerian DSS, Nigerian military, Nigerian security agencies remain some of the most professional across the world.
Absolutely.
Now, whatever makes the feeling of the fact that sometimes we are not seeing that thing, sometimes it's just leadership or politics, because you remember the security apparatus of all security agencies, all is like a pyramid where at the top is the commander-in-chief. They wait for that command, and at the point of that command is politics. So sometimes that's what holds us back. Now you are seeing, it is still the military that we've had that time that we still have right now. It is still the DSS that we had that time that we still have right now. So what changed? It is still the same. So when you see the will, you always find the way. But Nigerians had always said, government, do anything you can do, whether you will pay ransom, whether you will, forcefully go into the place, or gas the people to sleep and collect our people back. All we want is our family members back. Now the family members are back. Of course, as we get along, stories will come very soon. What transpired behind the scenes, whether money was paid, we don't know. Whether it was a negotiation between some foreign, whatever, we don't. But all of those will be made clear in the days to come.
Absolutely. But we must commend sister security agencies' collaboration to achieving all of this, because the Chief of Defense Staff mentioned that it was not just them. There were also sister security agencies that, came up to achieving this feat. And that is one of the things we've been talking about, collaboration to addressing any issue, whether security, economy, whatever it is in the country.
We have to really get down to the point. These people who did it, who were they? Let us get to the bottom. Because when we're talking about a tamp down in violence and banditry, there's also a need for reckoning. Who were those behind it? Those who have been arrested, what kind of justice are we going to get to them? We don't want to go to a society where we have the justice of the murderer, the justice of the rapist, the justice of the thief. We want the justice of the innocent. So in order to achieve that, we have to bring all those who have been arrested and bring them for public trial. So there is some kind of not only spiritual, but also moral catharsis, where everybody will say, yes, there is an end to this story. When you release somebody from captivity and the captor is still there, then there is still a sense that justice is only half achieved. So we need a closure, a full story about this, so that we don't get a sense that there is still a love for the oppressor. There's a love for the tyrant. So it's not that we love, to quote Brutus, it's not that we love the Nigerian less, but that we love the tyrant more. that we are releasing him, but we love him, but we still love the tyrant. So we don't want to arrest him. There's divided justice.
Yes, that's one thing that has a lot of Nigerians have often spoken about in terms of justice being done and sin to be done with regards to this matter, holding these persons to account such that we can get closure, and then we can know that, yes, we are doing something with regards to the fight against insecurity and bringing these persons to book.